Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by our good friends down in Madisonville, Madisonville Marine. And what sets them apart, we tell you every week it's something different. That's because the whole thing sets them apart. That's just it. Nobody has the pricing that matches Madisonville Marine. Nobody has the amount of brand names, boats that Madisonville Marine has. Nobody has the amount of models of those brands that Madisonville Marine has. And nobody has the customer service that Madisonville Marine provides. You know, that started as a family-owned business 37, 38 years ago now. Been acting that way ever since. Madisonville Marine, can't say enough things about them. Get down there and check it out if you're in the market for a boat, or go to madmarine.com and see for yourself the incredible selection that they've got. All right, I want to welcome in a couple of new guys on the panel today. We have David Ligon, former volunteer offensive lineman. I'm sure you were stinging watching that last night. And right down there, former Vol quarterback Sterling Hinton. You might have been stinging more than David, quarterback, watching Justin Worley get beat up like that. This is our hot read segment, so just a couple of quick questions. Going to start with you, David. We'll talk about pass protection later. Yeah. But about the run game, there were some signs of life. If we've got the numbers, we can show you what Hurd and Lane did in the first half. All right, 9 carries, 19 yards, 2.1 per carry. And you just see 3-2, 3-1. Just awful first half. You look at the second half, though, and the numbers jump. 10 carries, 99, averaged 10 yards a carry. And that was obviously aided by the 43 and the 29. I didn't put in there the final clock-killing drive where Tennessee was just kind of running out the string. But signs of life. How much do you think, David, that you can look at that and say, okay, maybe the run game's appearing? You know, Jalen Hurd finally had an arrival run, if you will. Hey, I'm here. Do you look at that as a sign of life, or do you say Oklahoma might have been snoozing by that point?
Well, I think early in the game, Oklahoma threw a lot at a young offensive line, moving defensive linemen, different blitz packages, and that played into it. I think as they went through the course of the game, between series, halftime, I think Tennessee did make some adjustments. Those guys felt a little bit more comfortable. It was still the same players for Oklahoma. I think they got into a little bit more of a base situation, but they were still able to get some production. I think it is a sign of life. Oklahoma had a really good front seven on defense. Tennessee, while the first half wasn't that great, they did kind of get things going in the second half. And that's what you want to see, is improvement over the course of a game.
Bob, signs of life, are you buying?
I'm not quite buying it yet. I think some of it might have been, well, Oklahoma's defensive line was tired. They'd ran after Worley so much they finally just sort of wore out.
There's only so many times you can hit a pinata.
Yeah, and I also think that Oklahoma was probably thinking Tennessee is going to have to try to go over the top, get back in the ball game. They might have loosened up a little bit on the front end to try to take away some things on the back end. So I'm not going to buy into it yet. I mean, it's good, it's great, but you got to go forward and see, can you do this earlier in the games, you know, coming up with Georgia, Florida, et cetera.
Well, that's where your threat of, talking about pass protection. If you can pass protect and give Worley an opportunity to throw the ball down the field earlier in the game, Oklahoma's going to get set back worried about that.
Certainly good to see Jalen Hurd, who is clearly their number one back. I mean, they view him as a guy that can break some tackles and make something happen. Certainly good to finally see him with one of those 43-yard runs. I'm going to go to Sterling and Jimmy for this next question. Sterling, on a positive note, the defense gave up a lot of yards, but they played pretty darn well, all things considered. We got some numbers to show you here in terms of the drives, how they started on offense in the first half, or how Oklahoma started on offense in the first half. Field goal, touchdown, field goal, punt, touchdown, interception. Then you look at the second half, though. They marched down the field, get the touchdown. From that on, they could not land the knockout punch. Punt, downs, punt, missed field goal. Sterling, how improved is this defense?
The defense is incredibly improved. And this is why, John P., I'm going to tell you. We gave them on defense 10 points. Those were mental errors. Those were missed coverages.
That first bust, yeah.
They were all bust basically on 3 of Oklahoma's biggest plays of the game. So if we get our guys in the right place and we're playing what we're coached to do, I'm telling you, we're a hard defense to penetrate. Now, take it back another step. Oklahoma's a real good team. A lot of speed. That one run, that little 15-yard run out there where their running back number 4 got in the end zone when he almost got touched when he got the end zone, barely got touched. That was a good play. But other than that, that offense really wasn't that productive. If you look back at the game, and that came on the hindsight of a bad call on that fumble, which I think was a fumble.
We'll discuss that a little bit later on. Jimmy, your thoughts on the defense and their performance and where they are compared to – is this defense a little ahead of schedule from where you thought they might be?
Yes, it is ahead of where I thought it would be. And if you look at it, Oklahoma's offense didn't score 34 points. You know, because some of it was set up, the 100-yard, obviously the interception return. The thing I liked about what the defense did was they kept fighting in the second half. At a time when they could have laid down, they didn't do that. They even blocked the field goal attempt when they could have not rushed. So I appreciated those things. I think the defensive line's better than I thought. A.J. Johnson's playing very well. Jalen Reeves-Maybin is playing really good football. And I like Cam Sutton at the cornerback position. I think it's obvious they're faster, they're more athletic, and I think the defense has accounted well for itself.
I agree. All right. Very good, guys. When we come back, we're going to send Will Overstreet and Sterling Hinton over to the telestrator. We're going to talk about pass protection. We'll also welcome in Bobby Scott. We'll discuss with David, Bobby, Sterling, Will, the offensive line breakdowns and what that does to a quarterback when you're back there under that much fire. Come on back on the Sports Source.